Hello everyone and welcome back to Park to Table, where we help you create your favorite theme park dishes right at home. Today we're in Batu, so I wanted to bring you guys a special Star Wars Day menu. We celebrated May the 4th here just a couple of days ago and it was fantastic. And it really got me inspired to see if I could create some of this fan favorite food at home. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Black Calf Cold Brew. It's the cold brew coffee that's got the cream cheese on there, and then the little cocoa pebbles. And then we're going to be also taking a look at everybody's favorite, the Ronto Wrap. It's a wonderfully grilled sausage wrapped in a pita with coleslaw, a little peppercorn sauce on there. So let's go take a look at these two dishes and see if we can help you recreate the fan favorite Batu classics right at home. Okay, so first up on our little Star Wars menu here, we got the Black Calf Cold Brew from the Outpost Popcorn stand over there. And the interesting thing about this is that it has that sweet cream cheese topping on it, and that's going to be the key to getting this recipe right. I think the consistency is going to matter and the sweetness is going to matter also. I want to get a taste of that by itself because the cold brew is just regular cold brew, so the secret is in the cream cheese there. It's really thick, really creamy. I get a little bit of that cream cheese flavor on the back end, but I think it's mostly just heavy cream or half and half or something like that we'll have to whip with the cream cheese to get that texture and that flavor. Yeah, that's good. But I think the sweetness level, it's definitely sweeter than you would get cream cheese out of the packet, so we'll have to sweeten it up a little bit too. So we'll definitely have to work on that little cream cheese sweetener there. Next up on our Star Wars menu, of course, we had to get the Ronto Wrap. So the key to this is going to be a couple of things. It's got that really beautiful smoked sausage on there. Getting the right sausage is going to be key. You don't want to get anything that's going to be a spicy sausage because it's going to overpower. And I also think that there's a little bit of heat in the dish, but I think that's coming from that peppercorn sauce, so that's going to be a key also. That peppercorn sauce is what ties in that crunchy coleslaw to that really savory, intense pork flavor in that sausage. And then you've got the roasted pork in there. You don't want to overdo the spices on the pork because then that's going to be, it's going to kind of out flavor your sausage, right? So I think the key here is going to be a balance of ingredients, and the sausage obviously is the star, so we got to get the right sausage. But let's take a bite, see if we can figure out, and then we'll see if we can recreate it at home. Right, so I think that coleslaw is going to be a really big ingredient too, because that's kind of what gives you that crunch, that texture addition, and I think there's a little bit of spice coming from the peppercorn sauce and maybe the coleslaw also, so we'll have to figure that out. Let's take these dishes home and see if we can't figure out how to bring a little bit of Batu to your kitchen. Okay, so we've made it back from Batu. The first thing I want to tackle is that Black Calf Cold Brew. Again, I think the key to that one is going to be getting that cream cheese topping really creamy and a little bit on the sweet side, because it doesn't have any other creamer or sugar in it, so that's going to be both in one. So I've got my kettle here full of water. I'm going to go ahead and make some coffee so we can let that cool off while we're making the cream cheese mixture. So I'm just going to do a pour over here. So I'm going to brew my coffee in here. Actually, let me get some ice, put it in here. That way when we pour the coffee over, it'll be cold for us. While that's going, I'm going to kind of prepare the mixture for our cream cheese. So I've just got one block of cream cheese here. Depending on how much coffee you want, you can use this whole block or you can kind of make it in smaller batches. I'm just going to use 2 ounces of this, which is a quarter of this block. It's an 8-ounce block. And that'll be good for maybe 2 servings. But if you wanted to make more, you can obviously, double, triple the recipe. I'll leave the recipe in the description below so you can kind of make the quantity that you're looking for. But what we kind of want to do with this is, I've tried it a couple times, a couple different ways. I've used block cream cheese like this. I've used whipped cream cheese. I think the trick is to heat the mixture up so the cream cheese melts a little bit and then whip it. I think if you just mix it cold, you're kind of left with some of those pieces of cream cheese in there, and it kind of gets, it breaks up a little bit in the coffee. So we're gonna heat it up to make sure that everything is melted, really well combined before we mix it up. So we'll use this hot plate here when the coffee is done. So I just want to kind of get this to temperature a little bit, so I've got it setting out for now. Okay, our water is up to temp, so go ahead and get our coffee started. And like I said, you know, this part is really up to you on how you want to make your coffee. This is obviously the more difficult way. And while we're brewing our coffee here, let's go ahead and get the cream cheese mixture started. So I'm just going to a pan, add about half a cup of half and half. And then 2 ounces of our cream cheese. And I just want to heat this slowly. I don't want it to boil or anything. I just want to kind of melt that cream cheese. So I'm going to put it on like a low to medium low heat. Just going to give it a little bit of a whisk to help start breaking up that cream cheese in half and half. We also want to sweeten this up a little bit. In the park, I tasted the cream cheese mixture on its own, and it was definitely sweeter than this is going to be. So what I'm going to use is just maybe like a tablespoon of this vanilla coffee syrup. This is Starbucks, but any syrup will do. If you don't have a syrup like this, you can just do about a tablespoon of just plain sugar, just plain granulated sugar. But when you're warming this up, make sure that everything gets dissolved all the way. Otherwise, you'll end up with, you know, some granules in your cream cheese, and you really want this to be nice and creamy and well mixed. And this cream cheese is already starting to kind of break down and melt into the half and half, but we want to make sure that it's really smooth. You can see that we still have some lumps in there of the cream cheese, but it's starting to break down really nicely. Give us that consistency we're looking for. Okay, our coffee is almost done. Our cream cheese has melted all the way into that half and half. So I'm gonna take this off the heat now also and let that rest a little bit. And when it cools down just a little bit, we'll mix it up and make sure it's nice and frothy and creamy. And that should be the perfect balance for this cold brew coffee here. Okay, so now that this is rested for just a minute, I'm gonna go ahead and get my hand mixer with the whisk attachment on there and start working some air into it, and that'll make it nice and fluffy and hopefully break up any remaining small pieces of cream cheese that are in there. So let's give it a quick mix. Do want to give this just a quick taste to make sure that we've got the flavor and the consistency we're looking for. It's perfect. It's got a subtle cream cheese flavor, but it's definitely there. It's just sweet enough, and it's really creamy. To help it out and to make sure that we don't get any clumps, I'm going to strain it through a really fine mesh strainer, and then that should be perfect. And like I said, this will be good for about 2 servings, but you can also make more, and it saves in the refrigerator for about a week or so. Actually, it saves pretty well. So all right, moment of truth. We've got everything laid out for our Black Spire Outpost inspired black calf cold brew. So let's assemble and see how close we got. First we'll pour a little coffee into our cup here. This cup I got on the Disney Wish. It's from their Star Wars themed bar there. A little souvenir glass I got myself. This cream cheese mixture I'm really excited about because it turned out a really great consistency. And of course we'll top it with our Cocoa Puff cereal here. There it is, it looks really good. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. I think we did a really good job on this. Again, the coffee is just coffee, and everybody's, you know, has their favorite coffee and everything like that. But again, the cream cheese mixture that we made, I've seen a couple recipes online for it, and nothing was really hitting it, you know, on the head in terms of texture and the sweetness level. But I think this is perfect here. So yeah, cheers. If you're looking for a Black Spire cold brew, this is it. Now we move on to the fun part, the Ronto Wrap. I'm gonna get cleaned up here, reset, and we'll get started on our Ronto Wrap. All right, so for our Ronto Wrap, we're obviously gonna need a few different components, right? So we're gonna start on the coleslaw and the peppercorn sauce first, and then we'll move on to the meats. For the coleslaw, I just have a little bit of this coleslaw mix here. It's just cabbage, carrots, and this one has like white and red cabbage in it. But they sell a bunch of different kinds, so just kind of get whatever. This isn't the most important part of the dish, but whatever you like, whatever your preference. We're also gonna add to it a little bit of just fresh chopped parsley, and that's just gonna give it an extra little zest of flavor there. Maybe, again, I'm just doing one serving here, so I'm gonna use maybe a tablespoon of fresh parsley. And then to our cabbage and parsley mixture here, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, about a half a teaspoon of lime juice, and then some fresh cracked pepper. This pepper is like a pepper medley, so it's got black pepper, green pepper, and pink peppercorns in there, along with like some cardamom and allspice. You can certainly just use black pepper, but in my opinion, the way to go is fresh cracked pepper, no matter what kind of pepper you use. You really want that aromatic, peppery flavor. We give it a couple good turns in there, and we'll just toss everything together. And the reason we want to start this first is because we really want that vinegar and the lime juice to kind of start and break down the cabbage a little bit, pull some of those liquids out of the cabbage, so you get a nice, soft, but still crunchy slaw. And this isn't a mayonnaise slaw. This is really, really used for some acidity and some texture in the Ronto Wrap. So no mayonnaise in this slaw. The mayonnaise is gonna come in the peppercorn sauce, which we're gonna do next. So this is actually pretty simple too, but adds a lot of flavor and a lot of depth to the Ronto Wrap. So for the peppercorn sauce, I'm just gonna add maybe a couple tablespoons of mayonnaise to a mixing bowl. And then some sriracha to add a little bit of heat. This is definitely personal preference on how much to add of the sriracha there. Again, a little bit of lime juice to kind of help boost that acidic note in there. And then again, a good amount of fresh cracked pepper. Then I also like to add a little bit of minced garlic. This is just out of a squeeze too, but you can certainly mince it fresh if you like. Probably about 1 clove's worth. And then we'll just give that a good stir. Perfect. Okay, now let's talk about the meat for the Ronto Wrap. Obviously the sausage is the star of the dish, so it's really important to choose the right sausage. This is just a smoked bratwurst. You do want a smoked sausage. You can use like a Polish or a kielbasa. I find the brat is a perfect combination of like really intense flavor, but also kind of lets other ingredients in. I really think a Polish would be good too, but I like these brats. For the pork, I've got just a pork tenderloin, and this is just a small portion. You know, you can usually buy them from pre-packaged from the grocery store. So I've just cut off a little piece here because we're just gonna do one sandwich, but what I do wanna do is marinate the pork while we're heating up our grill. So for the pork, I'm just gonna do a little bit more garlic, some more of our pepper medley, and then just a little bit of olive oil to kind of help everything spread around the tenderloin here. So we'll get that on there, spread everything around, make sure it's evenly coated. We'll let this hang out for a few minutes while our grill is getting preheated, and then we'll go get our brat and our pork on the grill. All right, our grill's up to temperature. Let's go get our brat and our pork tenderloin on the grill. Setting the pork right on the highest spot, or the highest temperature of the grill, and then I'll set the brat off to the side a little bit so it's not quite getting that intense heat, because it's going to take the pork a little bit longer, a little bit more heat to really get to where we want it. So while our pork and our sausage are grilling, I'm just going to come in here, I'm going to stir up our coleslaw a little bit, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt to it just to kind of help break down the cabbage a little bit more, draw some more of that moisture out. I've got a little bit of moisture coming out of it here, but I do want to just draw a little bit more out of it. So we'll add a little salt, not much at all, just a pinch. And then make sure that that's stirred in really well. We've also got our pita out, and as soon as our pork and sausage come off the grill, I'll rest those for a few minutes, and I'll throw the pita on the grill just to kind of warm it up, get it a little bit toasty, and get ready for all the ingredients for our Ronto Wrap. All right, our meats are looking good here, so we'll take them off the grill, take them to the side, let them rest for a few minutes. All right, so we've got our pita back off the grill, it's nice and warm. Let's start final assembly. We're gonna start, of course, with that beautiful sausage, put that on there. Let's get a little bit, a couple of slices of this pork tenderloin here. That's cooked really nicely. We'll just lay that right behind the pork, or behind the sausage. Follow up with a little bit of this slaw. Top it with some of this peppercorn sauce here. There it is, your at-home Ronto Wrap. It looks good. Let's see how it tastes. It's really good. Really, really close to the original. I think that what I like about ours is that the slaw is like really fresh, so it's really crunchy, and it has a really good like acidic balance, so you're really cutting down the fattiness and the richest of that sausage and that pork with that slaw. The peppercorn sauce adds just a little bit of like heat to it. Really good. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know these are a little bit weird, but I love cooking, and I hope that comes across. And if you try any of these dishes, please let me know in the comments how they turned out, if you change anything, or if it's something that's gonna be in your regular, repertoire now. Be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. My name is Travis. I'm gonna finish our dish here. Ronto Wrap, Black Spire, Black Calf, Cold Brew. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.